Alrighty, now we get into the audience questions, and the first question is directed to Thielen. You have 1 minute to answer the question.
Awesome.
If you could add any new program to ASMSU, what would it be and how would it benefit the students?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I would like to see a little bit more of recreation type things. I know that there's like billiards and bowling, but I've been to a couple different schools where they had scuba diving for one. They had some rock climbing going on. I don't know if MSU has rock climbing. I know they have it in the rec center, but I think that we need to push to get some more things like that for students, because that's a lot of work going to college, and it's really great to be able to let off some steam and get a credit for it. I know that I didn't get to do scuba diving at my last school, but if I could have, I'd have jumped on it in a heartbeat, and I think it's something that could really benefit the students here at MSU. Thanks.
Thank you. Dylan, you have 30 seconds.
Thanks. Thielen, yeah, we've been working on that quite a bit through ASMSU. That was one of the biggest successes last year, is actually getting more activity programs in place. So glad to see that you are passionate about that. What I'd like to see is the Engagement Ambassador program that I was just talking about. And whether that be through ASMSU or through the Office of Activities Engagement, I want to see students talking with students about getting involved, especially when they come in their first month as freshmen when they don't even know what's going on yet. I want to go in and talk to these students and ask them what their interests are and then find something for them.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Yeah, so I'm actually thinking about a program that we used to have, and something that I think would be really cool to bring back. It was something similar to Adventures MSU, where we bring freshmen right when they get in here in tandem with their orientation sessions, and we bring them out and show them the Bozeman community at large, help them get connected to friends, and get connected to student services. And so I would love to bring that back in some way, like we used to have a couple years ago with ASMSU Outdoor Rec and Office of Admission. So thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Andrew, you have 30 seconds.
All right. I'd like to see this as a three-part field. So I guess the first part is academic. We really want to look at the academic side, and a program we could do for that is something like major integration. Because I don't really feel like students exactly are connecting with their major as much as they'd like to. So if they want to, we'd like to increase mentorships and research opportunities from juniors and seniors of their major. We'd also like to have like an end of the year banquet that includes recognition of a few students from each major. That way, students feel like they're actually involved in their academics. Thank you.
Thielen, you have 30 seconds for any closing comments.
Awesome. I think the ideas that the other candidates brought up are great. Getting more involved in the academic part and making it so that people can feel more involved in their major is a huge thing. I know coming into campus as a freshman, I felt kind of lost. I was at a different school actually playing a sport, so I had guys around me all the time that I could really kind of fall into and have that camaraderie, but I know that it can be really lonely as a freshman. And getting into a type of program where you feel welcome, and you can make friends, and you can really succeed is a pretty big thing to me. Thanks.
Thank you, candidates. And this next question that's from the audience will be directed to Andrew. You'll have 1 minute. What are you going to do to promote inclusivity and build bridges between various cultures here on campus?
I'm sorry, could you say it again? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. What are you going to do to promote inclusivity and build bridges between various cultures here on campus?
So I think building bridges between cultures on campus is about recognizing the differences that each person represents, and it's not just recognizing that we're all different. It's about recognizing each individual talents. And so a way to increase that culture across campus is really to affect the student, the people, the person who matters. And whether that's affecting retention rates by making the standards more effective in the campus academics, or increasing participation, or ensuring participation, I should say. And so I guess increasing culture across campus and increasing the face of that is really comes down to making sure that every person is represented, that every person is a voice for this campus. And I guess that comes down to making it not just a program for each person, but a program for all, and that will affect every person. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. And now we'll hear from Dylan.
Okay, thank you. First of all, my running mate Steven actually sits on the American Indian Council, and he's going to be helping me a lot with this type of deal. One thing I think that we need to do actually is recognize subcultures within our own campus. I think that ASMSU, once again, has actually failed to do that in recent years. I want to see ASMSU revamped, and I want its focus to be shifted to include all students from all walks of life. I believe that, I mean, sometimes they get kind of caught up in their own agenda and their own views, and we need to be talking to all students.
Thank you, Dylan. And now we'll hear from Lindsay.
Great, thank you. So Kia and I have done a lot this year to help increase awareness around diversity. We've helped to create the Diversity Advisory Board. Kia has worked with the Diversity Awareness Office to help create a bias incident reporting system so that way students can report these incidences. We've also pushed the board policy 703, the non-discrimination policy, to include gender identity and sexual orientation, and hopefully that will be passed at the next meeting. Also, doing trainings like the White House Project to ensure that students do also have the tools that they need to lead even with a minority status. So thank you.
Thank you. And Teelan?
I know that Kia, in her time in office, along with Lindsay, have really pushed to make sure that people from all different cultures really feel welcome and at home here at MSU. I share that passion, and so does Keely. Keely has a little bit more experience with different cultures than I do, but that's why I asked her to run with me, because I know that she can teach me a lot of things, and we can work on the programs that are already being started by Kia and Lindsay, and we can continue those and build on them in the future.
Awesome. Thank you. And Andrew, you will have 30 seconds.
I believe that we need to focus on the three areas, really, and that's affecting the academic, physical, and the emotional level. So if we need to integrate the Voice Center more, because I feel like it's not exactly represented, because they deal with all these problems. They deal with all these, excuse me, I should say challenges. They deal with these challenges by creating solutions. And if we need to work with them to establish better and more effective control over solutions. So I guess if we can connect them to ensure continued success, that is our vision. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. This next audience question goes to Lindsay. Specifically, how would you effectively communicate with students to ensure that their interest and not your own are supported by ASMSU?
Yeah. So that's something that Kia and I have tried to do this year. We went out, we did listening sessions in the residence halls, and then one for students at large, one for students specific to the Greek community. So that way we're ensuring that we are talking to the students and stakeholders all over campus. So we would love to continue doing things like that. Also, having students on all of our advisory boards, all of the committees across campus, either Kia or I or senators sit on those, and that's an opportunity to talk with the administration about some of these issues that are conflicting with students at the time. And then we also will hopefully come up with other ways to do creative outreach to students. So if this looks like standing out on the mall trying to talk to students about an upcoming event that we have, or sitting down with students in the Union Market while they're grabbing lunch to talk to them about an upcoming policy change or a referendum on the ballot that we have, we're willing to do that.
Thank you, Lindsay. Andrew?
Much of ASMSU is done at the beginning of the year, and we want to have a continued presence throughout. So we'd like to have showing off your major club, or showing off your club in front of the library. We'd like to have people see the actions of the government. That way, we're involved and we're continuously giving our support to all the students. We'd like to show who our student leaders are by going into maybe classrooms and talking with people. We'd like to drop into the residence halls a couple hours a month just to make sure that we're still connecting with every single resident. We'd like to make sure that we emphasize who we are at MSU, not only in sports, academics, but also clubs and our actions. Thank you.
Thank you. Dylan?
So far, there was a parking pass that the student body president was given. It was like $625 out of our budget. Kia struck that from the budget, and I wholeheartedly support that idea. It's something that I don't need. I can park anywhere and walk. It's totally fine. I'm totally selfless when I come here. Any type of perk that is given to me as president, I'm fine with giving up and giving back to the students, because I'm not here for me. I'm here for you guys, and that's what matters. Thanks.
Thank you. Dylan?
Thank you. Lindsay, I think that the listening sessions and the Greek sessions and the town hall meetings and whatnot are a great idea, but I don't think that they work, and they don't. We need to go to the students, and like you were saying about going out into the mall and speaking with them, that is something we are going to have to do. Senator Maines and I, one of the other senators, actually set up a comment box within the University Studies Advising Office. It didn't work. Students rarely put anything in there, but when I became a University Studies Advisor and sat down with students regularly and talked to them about their classes, they worked much better.
Thank you, Dylan. Lindsay, you have 30 seconds.
Yeah, so like Dylan said, it is critical to go out and to reach out to the students. So ensuring that we are as approachable as possible and ensuring that we are opening every line of communication so that way students can come and talk to us about any issues that they may have on campus. Lucas and I are currently doing that, and we are ready and willing to increase that in any way or change it so that way it's effective for all students. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay, and thank you to all the candidates for their thoughtful responses. This next question will be directed at Dylan, and you will have a minute to respond. It's a very specific question, so hopefully we can get specific answers from you all. With Montana being an agriculture state, how would you start to implement local grown and raised products into our union market and dorms?
Okay. First of all, I think that honestly, the ag community and the College of Agriculture is something that is woefully underrepresented in ASMSU. I really haven't seen very much involvement from them, and I have a lot of friends who have been part of FFA and been Montana State FFA officers. This is something that they would like to see, and this is something I really would want to fight for. I believe that because we are an agricultural institution, it is very important for us to make sure that these types of products are ending up in our cafeterias and in our dorms. But beyond that, I want to see the ag community coming together and working with ASMSU more. I think that sometimes we get split up, like I've been saying, and that ASMSU kind of gets this tunnel vision, and it loses focus of the rest of the students. And I think that the agricultural community on campus is a very, very large subculture of students that we are honestly completely missing out on, and they have a lot of great ideas that we need to hear.
Thank you, Dylan. Teelan, we'll hear from you next.
MSU, from the beginning, it was kind of founded as an agriculture school. Ag has been a part of MSU since the beginning, and it's something that needs to be supported always. I come from a ranching background, so it's very important to me to make sure that kids coming here for that type of major have all the help that they can get to make sure they get through and graduate. Keely and I already looked into some ideas. We're looking at maybe trying to get a new restaurant into the sub that brings in 85 to 95% all natural, locally grown products. Thanks.
Thanks, Teelan. And Andrew?
All right. We'd like to give students in agriculture the ability to make a change. Because if the student government just does it, how can we expect the cooperation from them? How can we expect how can we expect them to make the actions necessary? So we need to discuss this with the food service as well. We need to discuss it with the students. We need to make sure that the forums are open and that we're making sure we're making that effort. And the only way to do that is to affect the leadership of MSU on all levels. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And Lindsay?
Thanks. I'm glad this question is asked because it is something that Lucas has already taken the initiative and started working on. He's been meeting a couple times with Dean Williamson, who is in charge of the Sustainable Food and Bioscience Program, which is a co-op program between CLS and the College of Ag. So we've already taken that initial step to work to increase the amount of sustainable and local food that we're bringing in to the dining halls and the residence halls, but also to ensure that we're integrating that effort with the College of Ag and the Sustainable Food and Bioscience Program.
Thank you, Lindsay. And Dylan, you'll have 30 seconds to close.
Okay, thank you. All great ideas. I know that ASMSU in the past, when past President Blake Bjornson ran, one of his platforms was that he wanted to actually put in new restaurants in the sub. And it's something that was kind of forgotten because it's very difficult to focus on such projects. But I would honestly like to see something like that. And also, the ASMSU president serves as a conduit for communication for students. So if this is something that students want, the ASMSU president is going to give them the contacts and the opportunities to make this happen.
Thank you, candidates. Keelan, this next question is for you. And every candidate gets 1 minute to respond to this question. What differentiates you from the other competitors? Please give one example.
The obvious one is that I'm a fresh face. I'm just like one of you guys. I know that. I know what the average student wants. I hope I do anyways. And I know that I'll give everything that I have to make sure you guys get what you need. I have an open door policy. I'll make sure that I'm in the office as much as possible to make sure everybody can come in and talk to me and get their points across. I know that it's easier to talk one-on-one than in large forums. A lot of people don't like to necessarily speak out. I know in some of my classes, the bigger ones, I definitely don't. So I want to make sure that there's as much one-on-one time as possible to make sure that you guys can come in and talk to me. I'm personable. and I'm here for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew, you have 1 minute.
All right, thank you. We'd like to just say that David and I haven't exactly been, we've been RAs, and so we know exactly what students want. We've been, for at least 2 years, I've been in the residence halls, and I've found what students have been engaged in, what gets them motivated, what gets them up in the morning, and why they do it. And so, what differentiates me and David is our ability to not be corrupted by the bureaucracy of ASMSU, by our ability to affect change and represent who we are as conviction, as with conviction and with examples. We have been involved in several leadership opportunities, and by being involved in these leadership opportunities, such as going to an event in New York where there was 5,000 people all trying to speak together with one voice, that is the kind of leadership we need. Someone who is able to affect that much change, who is able to know what really affects people, what we can really contribute, what we really can make students be significant, and we can emphasize that. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Lindsay, just to repeat the question, what differentiates you from the other competitors? Give one example.
Thank you. First off, my passion for students and for student success. During my time here at MSU, I've served as a senator, I've served as an orientation leader and RA, student body vice president, as well as several other registered student organizations. I'm here because I'm passionate about students, and I want to help make this an environment that's conducive to student success. Also, my experience already within the organization provides me with the perfect groundwork to step up into this presidential position. I also am running with Lucas, which makes us a very diverse team. We've had a lot of different experiences across campus, and also Lucas being so young provides us with kind of the experience matched with the fresh face. So I think that all in all, Lucas and I are the most experienced and diverse team on the ballot, and we're here because we're passionate. We're here because we want to make this a better environment for students, and because at the end of the day, we want to make this an environment that's conducive to student success.
Thank you, Lindsay. Dylan?
Thank you. First of all, I feel like Kia Abbey has created some enormous shoes to fill right now. And I think that it takes, honestly, experience with ASMSU to become the most effective president possible. And that is something that Stephen and I both have. Lindsay and Lucas have the exact same thing, but Lucas being a freshman worries me because I don't believe he's had the level of experience that you need in order to serve effectively in such a role. I believe Stephen and I have the best of both worlds. We have the experience, but we also understand the average student, and we understand what they need, and we understand their concerns, and we're going to reach out, and we're going to shift the focus of ASMSU to reach out to these students. You know, I believe sometimes that on this campus we get a silent majority. There's a minority amount of students who are actively engaged in this campus, but there's a majority who aren't. And maybe they want to be, and we need to reach out to them, and we need to talk to them about these different opportunities and get them involved with ASMSU.
Okay, thank you, Dylan. We have our final question here from the audience, and each of you will be given 30 seconds to address the question. This question will be directed at Andrew first, and here it is. At one point, ASMSU was considering a sub-pub. Is this something you would also push for?
The only reason I would push for something like that is as if student funds were not being involved. Is if we were being represented in a manner that reflects who we are as a university. So if that does not represent us as a university, then no, I would not go for that. However, if it represents us as a university and it gives us that voice, if it gives us some greater support and greater student cooperation, then by all means, let's do it. As long as the student funds are not being used for something like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And Dylan, you'll have 30 seconds.
I wasn't aware of this. I think that I agree that it's something that needs to be a representation of MSU and something that everyone wants. I know that with spectators just off campus, it is a pretty popular spot, and I don't mind going there after a hard test or something and kind of having a beer and relaxing a little bit with some friends. A sub pub would be great, but it needs to be something that everyone wants and everyone needs. Thanks.
Thank you. And Dylan, 30 seconds.
Yeah, last year this is something that was actually pushed forward in ASMSU, and I was part of the original committee for the sub pub. And it's honestly a very, very difficult and complicated issue to get into, but I think that if we had senators who were excited about it, and really wanted to go through with it. And we had constituents who were coming forward and talking to ASMSU and saying, you know what, we want to have some diversity in our food on campus. We want to have options. We want to have a sub pub where we can communicate with our professors in a professional setting where alcohol is involved. I think that we need to go forward with it.
Thank you, Dylan. And Lindsay, 30 seconds.
Thank you. So one of the notions about the Sub Hub that I thought was the most interesting was that it could be a place where students and faculty could interact in a less formal setting, kind of a collision space type of deal. And I think that while space in the Sub is very tight right now, with the upcoming renovation of Romney, I think this could be a really awesome space for students and faculty to have that collision space, and for us to look into different opportunities and different ways for us to allow those faculty, students, and staff to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. And the final part of this debate is, in 60 seconds, please give a statement that would sum up why you are running for this election. And let's start with Thielen.
Okay. I've always had a dream of being there for people who need me. I've always wanted to be put in that type of position where people can come to me and truly believe that they can talk to me and I can help them out. Being the student body president is just like one step towards furthering my goal in that. I know that I can be someone that will help MSU, and I know that I can be someone that will help the students here. I have a desire for it. It's my passion, and I hope that you guys can see that and you guys can put me into office. Thank you.
Thank you. Dylan, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. Basically, I can sum up why I'm running for this office, not in 60 seconds, but in one word, and that is passion. I care about this university more than anything. Ever since I was a freshman, I realized how much I cared about it. In fact, when I was a freshman, I was one of those kids who went to the football games and had his shirt off and was completely painted up, going crazy in the front row. I love this school. I'm filled with school spirit. And I want to take that passion and to give back, and I want to bring it to ASMSU, and I want to take the organization and push it forward. And I want to push the bounds of what's currently set, and I want to raise the bar for the ASMSU president, so in the future when new students come into this position, it is an incredible opportunity, and it is something that will create new opportunities and create a lot of new ways for students to get involved with this campus. Steven and I are very sociable guys. We have a lot of friends on this campus. We love this campus. We love this culture. We want to be part of it, and we want to lead it, and we want to take it in a new direction and make it a better place for students. Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan. Lindsay?
Thank you. So I think my experience paired with Lucas and both of our passions, our current record for making this an environment that's conducive to student success. We want to continue to make this a campus that is inclusive to all identities. We want to continue to ensure that students have ample opportunities to get engaged and to ensure that we are opening the doors that students need. We really want to continue to move forward with a sustainable growth so that we're maintaining the integrity of this institution that we call home. Like I said, Lucas and I, we're here because we're passionate, we're excited, and we love helping students. We want to ensure that students are getting involved and that we're doing everything we can to help students out. So I'll close with that, and go Cats.
Thank you, Lindsay. Andrew?
David and I have demonstrated that involvement is engaging every aspect of students' lives, from the academic to the emotional to the physical. Involvement is about ensuring participation for ASMSU programs, connecting students from academia, and resolving safety and security. Without these, there is no such thing as involvement. If students can't feel safe, they can't feel involved. If programs are not effective, can we expect participation to be effective? That's how you get students involved, by designing specific, determined, and hard-working committees focused on only 1 to 2 couple events per year. It's not just about making programs and opportunities, it's about making excellent opportunities and programs. It's guaranteeing that ASMSU is a presence throughout the year. It's also making sure that we highlight all the majors and give recognition to all. We've shown that we're not behind the scenes. We're ready to step out on stage. Remember, how we interpret the world is how the world interprets us. A vision can take some time to hold, but once a vision is in and everyone believes in it, how can growth be painful? If we are strong in our convictions and beliefs, nothing can hide the symbol we represent. Go Cats, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, candidates.
All right, I'd like to thank everyone, especially our candidates, for being here for the debate today. I hope all the audience found it very informative, and I would really just like to thank the candidates for giving up their time and for their courage in being willing to run and especially attend the debate today. If you're interested in watching the debate videos, if you want to watch the debate again, you can view them online at montana.edu/ASMSU. That should be up by tomorrow. Also, I know some of you might be disappointed that you did not hear from the vice presidential candidates, but I want to encourage you to go to msuexponent.com and read the interviews. Most of the VP candidates were interviewed, and you can also read candidate bios at the ASMSU elections page. I also wanted to do a quick plug for the Emancipator concert, which is coming up on March 7th. It will be in the sub ballrooms. You can buy tickets at the Ask Us or at any Ticket West vendor. Also, a big thing, on February 26th will be the primary vote. So don't forget to vote that day. You can vote online at montana.edu/vote. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I'd really like to thank the staff of the LI, ASMSU, our candidates, the audience for all your questions, and MSU Catering, and anyone else who made this event possible. We hope it was a success and that you found it very informative. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.